So the TPAS, this truck parking availability system, is really their first deployment that they're doing as a partnership. And what it does is it's not looking at adding additional parking capacity to the I-10 corridor. It's really focused on an ITS type of system that will really monitor and provide real-time truck parking availability information to truck drivers and their dispatchers, so that as they're planning their routes along the I-10 corridor, they can be in a good position to find safe and available and convenient parking. More than 80% of drivers are searching for parking more than 30 minutes. And as you see on here, even 40% an hour or longer. So they really have to be thinking proactively about where can I stop and do those breaks, because, you know, often when they're getting closer to their delivery facilities, they're finding that there is no parking and they cannot park at those facilities. And so, you know, in addition to the stress of, you know, every day with their job, there's the stress of just this parking situation. And so here's just a snapshot of what that is on the California corridor. They have 6 different facilities that they're going to deploy the TPAS at, kind of listed on here. You know, right now they're focused on evaluating different detection technologies and procurement methods. And I'll talk here in a minute about what some of those detection technologies might be, but just sort of the ways that they plan to collect the data, monitor these sites. And so they're getting ready to procure the design and system integration here as kind of their next step in California. It's all about kind of collecting the data. So, you know, the vehicle detection systems, they really measure the available truck parking and rest areas as they kind of either enter and exit the site or park in the spaces. And then once that data is collected, it goes to the states, or in some cases a third-party processor, where they compile and aggregate that data, and then it's disseminated out through various different communication channels to the end user, which in this case is the truck drivers or the dispatchers. Right now, we're kind of entering the system design. So all the states are working on their procurement to get the design contracts underway to design the system. And then in 2022, they'll really be focused on the software development and integration of the information, as well as construction of the cameras and detectors and other signs and things that need to be in field. And then we'll be testing, and the system actually launches about mid-2023. And then it will be operational thereafter. So there's also a large kind of ongoing operation and maintenance component that all the states have to think about.
Our role in this project is to demonstrate battery electric trucks and its supporting equipment throughout our supply chain to demonstrate that we can move our freight goods on these types of vehicles. Electric drive forklifts, as you see here, are have a long history in our industry. However, in our type of business, have been less productive in terms of efficiency. The common barriers currently are still price of the vehicles and the infrastructure. The price of the vehicles are very high. Basically, the batteries cost as much as the vehicles. Part of our project, we also introduced a battery or energy storage system, the one you see on the left. So we switched our mitigation to energy arbitrage. Basically, we collect energy when we overproduce solar. So we charge the battery with 100% renewable energy. And when solar production declines and ends for the day, the battery system then discharges its energy to mitigate grid pull. Microgrids, in my limited knowledge, but seem to offer the best solution, again, for utilities to come in and set up distributed energy resources with battery storage systems that would allow for resilient backup in the event of power outage to the fleet. This is an example of what our system is doing. And you can see in the green area where solar production is taking place. And the blue in the lower section is solar production going to the grid after it's already covered the gray area which is the pull, pull from the grid. And in the center, you can see the orange area where the battery is charging during solar generation. And to the right of the center, in the orange, you can see where the battery is discharging after solar production is diminished. It's our goal that someday, we will have a freight facility that is 100% zero emissions. I think Dependable Highway Express has taken the necessary steps.
I have to tell you, this is one of the most exciting bleeding edge technologies I've ever seen. And it is going to massively change how we look at our supply chains, logistics, et cetera. There was a study that 74% of customers believe that immediate delivery is the reason that they will buy something from somebody, that it has to be within 24 hours. So that increases trucks, et cetera. We've had 154% compound annual growth in same day delivery requirements thanks to COVID. 150% year over year, and it's increasing into next year. But this number blew me away. With only 15 destinations, if you only have to go to 15 destinations, the number of possible routes can exceed 86 billion routes. If you look at all the options in a dense metropolitan area. But the other thing is that you only get one option with our computing systems today. So you get what's known as the optimal optimization. So this is the optimal route for or optimal loading sequence or whatever you're doing with your trucking, right? The challenge is that, there may be routing that's off by 0.001 in the math calculations. Quantum computers actually model it and simulate it in real time so that they actually see the actual results and are more accurate than anything else out there. So they're going to give us more accurate answers. And they also, instead of just giving you one answer that says, this is mathematically the best answer for your problem, they give you a diversity of results that all meet your problem constraints. They deliver all of that diversity of answers so that you can look at them and say, well, wait a minute. The optimal answer is good, but this one that's just a little different in the math is better for me because it meets the constraints of my current scenario. We're also working on things that are called hybrids, which means you have a quantum computer and a classical computer working together, and they divide the workload up so that the quantum assists the classical where it has problems and can't solve, and the classical does what it does well, working for the quantum computer.
We're thinking the same things, right? Technology, appointment services, all the things, electrification, all the things that have been discussed. We're in the same boat. We need to integrate the system. The systems need to talk to each other. Technology needs to talk to each other. Origins and destinations need to talk to each other. Otay Mesa East State Route 11 is a corridor project. Just on the US side, it's a little bit shy of $1 billion. We have invested $565 million into it. Basically, all the transportation facilities are either done or are under construction. And we're really laser focused on delivering the port of entry. Our partners in Mexico are in the same tune. And what you see as a brown line at the end there, that is the border. That is the wall. And on the other side, you can see Tijuana as a major metropolitan area where several manufacturing plants are just abutting the border. So this is a diverging diamond in SR11 that we had to build. This is the first one in San Diego and in District 11. And the biggest thing is we're striving to open this facility by September 2024, which is huge and it's very ambitious. But if you don't drive a stake on the ground, you keep talking about the project. So a good friend that some of you may know or may not in the freight industry, Tina Kasker, taught me that. And she was a great mentor to me. And she said, Mario, you need to put it on paper and draw a stake on the ground and then let it happen or not. So we are striving for that. It's integrating the system, looking at technology, thinking outside the box and thinking that we can do it, that we can fit a square in a circle or a circle in a square. And we have to think that way.